Hello, how are you? I'm a little tired. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is on December 21st, 2023. It's on Thursday and sunny outside. How are you spending Thursday? Have you got a day off or school or work today? Are you excited for the year end? Do you have a plan for the weekend or New Year's holidays? Do you have a plan for the weekend? Do you have a plan for the New Year holidays? The little girl denied eating chocolate in the morning. The little girl denied eating chocolate in the morning, although her mouth was covered with chocolate, which was obvious, so. The little girl denied having eaten chocolate in the morning. The little girl denied having eaten chocolate in the morning. The little girl denied having eaten chocolate in the morning. The little girl denied having eaten chocolate in the morning. The little girl denied having ate chocolate in the morning. The little girl denied having ate chocolate in the morning. The little girl denied having eaten chocolate in the morning. The politician denied taking bribe. The politician denied taking bribe. The politician denied having taken bribe. The politician denied having taken bribe. The politician denied having taken a bribe. The politician denied taking a bribe. The politician denied taking a bribe. Tribe. Similar sounds, which confusing me. The politician denied taking a bribe. The politician denied having taken a bribe. The politician denied having taken a bribe. The politician denied taking bribes. The politician denied having taken bribes. The politician denied taking a bribe. The politician denied having taken a bribe. The politician denied taking a bribe. The politician denied taking a bribe. The politician denied having taken a bribe. The accused denied being involved in the crime. The accused denied having been involved in the crime. The defendant denied being in the place of the crime. The accused denied having been the place of the crime. The theft denied entering the bank at midnight. The theft denied having entered the bank. The theft denied having entered the entered the bank. The theft denied having entered the bank. The theft denied having entered the bank. The employee denied making a mistake. The employee denied having made a mistake. The employee denied making a mistake. The employee denied making a serious mistake. The employee denied having made a serious mistake. The person denied eating a bowl of rice topped with grilled beef at midnight in secret, although she was on diet. The person on diet denied having eaten gyudon, a bowl of rice topped with cooked beef, in secret. The driver denied using a smartphone while driving. The driver denied having used a smartphone while driving. The driver denied drinking alcoholic beverages before driving. The driver denied having drunk much alcohol beverages before he drove. The driver denied having drunk alcoholic beverages before he drove. The driver denied having drunk alcoholic beverages before he drove. With a view to escaping getting into the traffic jam, we left our house 1 hour and 30 minutes earlier than usual. In order to escape being criticized, we didn't show up in the media at all. For fear of being criticized, the artists did not show up at all on the media. In order to escape coming down with a nasty cold, I learned to take care of myself, especially after taking a bath, by keeping me warm. So as to escape coming down with a nasty cold, I learned to take care of myself. I learned to take care of myself in an attempt to escape coming down with a nasty cold. I learned to take care of myself in a bit to escape coming down with a nasty cold. In a bit to escape coming down with a nasty cold, I learned to take care of myself. I got to take care of myself. I came to take care of myself. The speeding car narrowly escaped crashing into the wall. The speeding car narrowly escaped crashing into the other car. The speeding car narrowly escaped crashing into the front car. The speeding car narrowly escaped crashing into the front car. The speeding car narrowly escaped crashing into the front car. The speeding car narrowly escaped crashing into the front car. The speeding car escaped hitting the front car. The speeding car narrowly escaped hitting the guardrail. The speeding car escaped hitting the guardrail. Guardrail. The speeding car escaped crashing into the guardrail. Guardrail. The speeding car escaped being pulled over by the police officer. The suspect at large escaped being spotted skillfully, adeptly, elaborately. The speeding car escaped crashing into the guardrail. Rail. The speeding car escaped hitting the guardrail. The speeding car escaped crashing into the front car. The speeding car escaped crashing into the wall. The speeding car escaped crashing into the front car. The speeding car escaped crashing into the wall. The speeding car escaped crashing into the guardrail. The speeding car escaped crashing into the guardrail. The special medicine contributed to escaping me from getting motion sick. The special medicine contributing to me escaping getting motion sick. The speeding car escaped hitting the guardrail. The speeding car escaped hitting the front car. Hitting the front car. The employee escaped being fired for some reasons. The employee escaped being laid off. The student escaped being scolded. Scolded. The student escaped being scolded. We escaped getting into the traffic jam. We escaped getting into the traffic jam. We escaped getting into the traffic jam. We escaped going into the traffic jam. We escaped getting into traffic congestion. We escaped getting into traffic congestion. Congestion. The student sitting in the back of the seats escaped being questioned during the class. The student escaped being questioned during the class. The student sitting on the back seat. In the back seats. Escaped being questioned during the class. The student sitting on the back at the back of the classroom escaped being questioned. The student sitting in the back escaped being questioned during the class. The student sitting in the back escaped being asked. The worker escaped working overtime on the day. The employee escaped working overtime. The employee seems to be able to escape working on New Year's Eve. The employee seems to escape working overtime today. The employee seems to escape working overtime today. The employee seems to escape working overtime today. The employee seems to escape working on New Year's Eve. We escaped the minor mistake developing into serious one. We escaped coming down a nasty cold. We escaped making him angry. We escaped making her angry. We could escape getting into the traffic congestion. We escaped getting into the traffic congestion. We escaped getting into the traffic congestion. We escaped getting into the traffic congestion. The bird escaped being run over by the car. The bird escaped being run over by the car. The bird escaped being run over by a car. The bird escaped being run over by a car. The bird escaped being run over by a car. The team with 9 consecutive losses escaped losing 10 times. The soccer team with 9 consecutive losses escaped losing 10 times consecutively. The soccer team with 9 successive losses escaped losing 10 times consecutively. The baseball team with 9 successive losses escaped losing 10 consecutive losses. The baseball team with 9 consecutive losses escaped losing 10 times in a row. As soon as you finish working on the duty, please call me. As soon as you finish working, please call me. I want my father to give up smoking and drinking. It is no use persuading her to give up singing. There is no point in persuading her to give up singing. It is no good convincing her to give up pursuing her dreams. It is no use persuading her to give up pursuing her dreams. There is no point in persuading her to give up pursuing her dreams. I cannot give up pursuing my dreams. I cannot give up pursuing my dreams. I cannot give up listening to music. I cannot give up studying English. I want my father to stop drinking alcoholic beverages and smoking cigarettes. I want my father to give up drinking and smoking. I'd like my father to give up smoking cigarettes and drinking alcoholic beverages. I gave up aiming for becoming a doctor when I realized the low score on the test. The moment I realized the low score of my test, I gave up becoming a doctor. I gave up becoming a physician. The instant I realized how low my test score was, I gave up becoming a physician. As soon as I noticed and realized how low my examination scores were, I gave up becoming a physician. When I was caught in the traffic congestion, I gave up arriving at the destination in time. I decided to take the later one on the train. Later, later a train. I decided to take the later train. When I was caught in the traffic congestion, I gave up arriving at the destination in time and stopped by some souvenir shops to kill time till the next uh, train. Can you imagine me working as a pilot? Can you imagine me working as a musician? Can you imagine me working as a physician? Please imagine walking on the street with the celebrity. Please imagine riding the attraction which you don't like the most. Please imagine floating on the sea with nothing around. Please imagine floating on the ocean in the dark with nothing to help you. Please imagine floating on the sea. Please imagine floating on the huge ocean with only the timber, with no help around you. My music teacher taught me to imagine walking in the forest alone to make my sound better and express better in the music. My music teacher taught me to imagine walking in the garden with happiness feeling. My music teacher advised me to imagine me walking in the garden. I really mind sleeping with other people in the dormitory room. Listening to the snoring sound is the last thing that I wanna do. Do you mind me sleeping in the dormitory room? Do you mind us staying in a guest house? I mean, in the dormitory room, with a view to saving money. Would you mind me opening the door? Would you mind me opening the door? Would you mind my opening the door? Would you mind my opening the door? Would you mind me opening the door? Would you mind if I open the door? Would you mind if I open the door? Would you mind if I open the door? Would you mind in opening the door? Would you mind in closing the door? Would you mind if I take a day off tomorrow? Would you mind if I took a day off tomorrow? Would you mind me taking a day off tomorrow? Would you mind my taking a day off tomorrow? Would you mind my taking a day off tomorrow? Would you mind us staying in a dormitory room of the guest house with a view to saving money? Would you mind if we stay in a dormitory room of the guest house in order to save money? Would you mind us staying in a dormitory room in an attempt to save money? Would you mind if we stayed in a dormitory room of the guest house in order to save money? How long should I practice playing the musical instrument to be as well as professionals? How long should I practice playing the musical instrument in order to become as skillful as professional? According to him, he used to practice playing the piano for at least 4 hours at the age of 9 years old. How often do you practice speaking English? How often did you practice speaking English when you were in your teens? How often did you practice speaking English? How often did you practice speaking English? How often did you practice speaking English at the junior high school and high school? How often did you practice speaking English? How often did you practice speaking English at junior high school and high school? How often did you practice speaking English at high school? How often did you practice speaking English at a junior high school and high school? How often do you practice speaking English? How often do you practice playing the guitar? How often and how long do you practice playing the piano on a daily basis? I want my father to quit smoking and drinking. I'd like my father to stop drinking and smoking. It won't be until we break our health that we might quit having an unhealthy lifestyle. It won't be until we break our health that we may take care of our health. It won't be until we break our health that we might quit having an unhealthy lifestyle. It might not be until we break our health that we quit doing something wrong. Quit smoking. Stop smoking. Quit having a conversation here. Stop having a conversation here. Stop being late at night. Stop being late at night. Stop littering here. Stop littering here. Stop making a fuss. Stop making a fuss. Quit making a fuss. Quit making a fuss. Stop making a fuss. Quit making a fuss. Quit making a fuss. Quit making a fuss. Stop making a fuss. Quit making a fuss. Quit drinking a lot of alcoholic beverages. Quit staying late. Stop staying late the day before the examination. How could you quit smoking? How could you stop smoking? Because many people cannot quit smoking because of the addiction. I'm not familiar with the nicotine addiction, but I hear many people cannot stop smoking nor drinking alcohol. How could you quit drinking? How could you stop quit drinking? As I grew up, I learned to quit wasting my time. As I grew up, I learned to stop spending my money on unwanted things. At some point in my life, I quit spending my money on unwanted things. At some point in my life, I stopped spending my money on unwanted things. At some point in my life, I quit waiting for more than 10 minutes in front of restaurants. At some point in my life, I stopped waiting in front of restaurants. The city mayor is of two minds whether to postpone holding the event or not. The city mayor is of two minds whether she should postpone holding the event on schedule or not. Many leaders were of two minds whether they should hold the event on schedule during the pandemic. Many leaders were in two minds whether they should hold the events during the pandemic. Many leaders were of two minds whether they should hold the event or not. Many leaders were of two minds whether they should postpone holding the event. Many leaders were of two minds whether they should have put off holding the event or not. The city mayor decided to postpone holding the event. The city mayor decided to put off holding the event. The city mayor decided to postpone holding the event. The city mayor decided to put off holding the event. I asked if I could postpone delivering a speech at the meeting. The company asked if they could put off releasing the product beyond the promised date. The company asked if they could postpone releasing the product beyond the deadline. The company asked if they could put off releasing the product beyond the promised date. I asked if I could postpone submitting the report to the professor. I asked if I could put off handing in the report to the professor. I asked if I could postpone handing in the thesis to my professor. I asked if I could postpone submitting my thesis to my professor. I asked if I could put off turning in my thesis to my professor. I asked if I could postpone turning in my thesis to my professor. I asked if I could put off submitting my report. I asked if I could put off turning in my thesis. I asked if I could put off handing in my graduation thesis. I asked I asked if I could put off turning in my thesis. I asked if I could put off submitting my report. I asked if I could put off turning in my thesis. I asked if I could put off turning my thesis in to my professor. Many events were postponed holding. Many events were put off taking place. The governor of the prefecture decided to postpone holding the event. The governor of the prefecture decided to put off holding the event. The government of the country decided to postpone putting the state of the emergency. The government decided to put off holding the state of emergency to make sure the number of infected went down. The government decided to postpone putting the state of emergency to make certain that the number of the infected would go down. The government decided to put off putting the state of emergency. Due to the inclement weather, the principal of the elementary school postponed holding the sports meeting. Due to the inclement weather, the principal of the elementary school put off holding the sports meeting. The teacher recommended me to read a number of books. The teacher recommended me to read the explanations until I could understand. Some renowned figures in the past recommend studying a lot. The author of the book recommends studying. The author of the book recommends studying. The teacher recommended saving money, not spending them on our private things all the time. The teacher recommended saving our income. The teacher recommended having the practice for at least 4 hours a day. The teacher recommended having the practice for at least 30 minutes. The teacher recommended having the practice for at least 30 minutes on a daily basis. The doctor recommended having a healthy lifestyle. The doctor recommended avoiding eating junk food. The doctor recommended escaping eating snacks and sweets for a time being. The mentalist recommended walking in the forest, which will contribute, which seems to contribute to relaxing us. The teacher of the cram school recommended taking a bath the day before the examination. The teacher recommended taking a sauna the day before the examination. The doctor recommended me to avoid eating junk food. The doctor recommended me to avoid eating junk food. The teacher recommended me to have a deep breath. Take a deep breath. The teacher recommended me to take longer time when I breathe in and the teacher recommended me to take shorter time when breathing in and take more time when breathe out. The author of the book recommends studying. I prefer coffee to tea. I sometimes prefer tea to coffee. I prefer studying at home to participate in the party. I prefer to study at home rather than to participate in the party. I prefer to be in a small group than to be in a large group. And some people prefer to be alone rather than to be in a group. Some people prefer to live in a countryside rather than living in large cities. Some people prefer to live in urban cities rather than to live in countrysides. Some people prefer to live in a large city rather than live in a small countryside. Some people prefer to live in a rustic area rather than to live in a large city. Some people prefer living in a rustic area to living in a large city. Some people prefer living in an urban city to living in a rustic area. Some people prefer living in a countryside to living in an urban city. Some people prefer living in an urban city to living in the countryside. Some people prefer bread to rice. Some people prefer rice to bread. Some people prefer to eat rice for the breakfast to eating bread for the breakfast. Some people prefer Japanese cuisine for breakfast to Western cuisine for breakfast. Some people prefer eating rice for breakfast to eat bread. Some people prefer to eat bread for breakfast rather than to eat rice. I prefer to swim in the sea rather than to climb the mountains in summer. I prefer swimming in the sea to climbing the mountains in summer. I prefer to swim in the sea rather than to climb the mountains in summer. I prefer to swimming in the sea to climbing the mountains in summer. Which do you prefer, coffee or tea? I prefer swimming in the sea to climb the mountains in summer. I prefer to swim in the sea rather than to climb the mountains in summer. He prefers to study mathematics rather than to study language. He prefers studying mathematics to studying languages. He prefers to study physical education rather than to study academic subjects. He prefers playing outside with physical education to studying academic subjects. He prefers to study physical education and play outside to studying academic subjects. He prefers to play outside and study physical education rather than to study academic subjects. Do you prefer tea to coffee? Do you prefer beer to wine? Would you prefer beer to wine? I like neither beer nor wine. Do you prefer coffee to tea? Some people prefer coffee to tea. Some people prefer coffee to tea. Some people prefer to drink a cup of coffee rather than to drink a cup of tea. Some people prefer to eat rice for breakfast rather than to eat bread. Some people prefer eating rice in the morning to eating bread. Some people prefer eating bread for breakfast to eating rice. Some people prefer to eat rice for breakfast rather than to eat bread. Some people prefer eating bread for breakfast to eating rice. Some people prefer to eat bread for breakfast rather than to eat rice. Some people prefer living in an urban city to living in the countryside. Some people prefer to live in the countryside rather than to live in a large city. Some people prefer being alone to being in a group. Some people prefer to be alone rather than to be in a large group. As soon as the class started, the students began to sleep. Soon after eating lunch, I began to feel sleepy. Soon after eating lunch, I began feeling sleepy. As soon as the employee arrived at his office, he began to work on his duty. He began working on his duty. After I have been influenced by the YouTuber's advice, I have begun to overcome one weakness on a daily basis. I began putting a burden on me on a daily basis and try to overcome it, getting it over, jumping it over. I've just begun to take the lesson. I've just began taking the lesson. I just began to take the lesson. It usually begins to snow in December. It usually begins snowing from December. I want my father to cease smoking and drinking. I want my father to cease to drink and smoking. When the 5 o'clock chime rang, she ceased to practice. She ceased practicing. When the 5 o'clock chime rang, she ceased to stop it. She ceased practicing. She ceased to stop practice. She ceased to 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 practice. She ceased practicing. She ceased to practice. She ceased to practice. She ceased to practice. Hmm. She's complaining. She's to complain. She's to complain about what you cannot help. She's to stop complaining about what is cannot helped. She's to stop complaining regarding what cannot be helped. What cannot be helped. She's complaining about what cannot be helped. Cease to complain about what cannot be helped. Cease to complain about what cannot be helped. Cease complaining what cannot be helped. Cease complaining what cannot be helped. Cease to complain what cannot be helped. Cease to complain about what cannot be helped. Cease to complaining. Cease to complain. Cease to complain. Cease to complain about what cannot be helped. Cease to complain. Cease drinking. Cease to drink. Cease to drink. Cease to drink. Cease drinking. Cease making a fuss. Cease to making a fuss. Cease to make 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 a fuss. Cease making 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 a fuss. Cease to make a fuss. Cease to make a fuss. I'm determined to cease working by 5 o'clock p.m. today. I am determined to cease to work by 5 o'clock p.m. today and go straight home. I am determined to cease to work by 5 o'clock p.m. today. I am determined to cease to work by 5 o'clock p.m. today. No matter who stops me, no matter what happens, no matter where I go. Cease to complain what cannot be helped. Cease complaining what cannot be helped. Cease to worry about what will happen if you make mistakes. Cease worrying about what will happen if you make a mistake. Cease worrying about the future. Everything will be fine. I expect everything to be fine. Cease to worry about the future. Cease to worry about the future. Cease worrying about 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 future. Cease to worry about future. Cease to think about making mistakes. Cease thinking about making a mistake. Cease imagining you making a mistake on the stage. Cease to imagine you making a mistake on the podium. Cease imagining making a mistake. Cease imagining you making a mistake. Cease to imagine you making a mistake. Cease to imagine making a mistake. Cease imagining making a mistake. Cease to imagine you making a mistake. Cease imagining you making a mistake. Cease eating a lot. Cease to intake a lot of sugar. Cease intaking a lot of sugar. Cease intaking lots of sugar. Cease intaking a lot of sugar. Cease intaking a good deal of sugar. Cease intaking a great deal of sugar. Cease intaking a great amount of sugar. Cease to intake a good deal of sugar. Cease to intake a good deal of sugar. Cease to intake a great deal of sugar. Cease to intake a great deal of sugar. Cease to intake a good deal of sugar. Cease to intake a great deal of sugar. Cease to intake a great amount of sugar. Cease to intake a large amount of sugar. Cease to intake a large amount of sugar. Cease to intake much sugar. Cease to intake a large amount of 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 sugar. Cease intaking 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 a large amount of sugar. The doctor advised that the patient should cease intaking a good deal of sugar. The doctor recommended that the patient should cease to intake a large amount of sugar. The doctor ordered the patient that she should cease to intake a good deal of sugar. The doctor insisted that the patient should cease to intake a great deal of sugar. Cease to intake a great deal of sugar. Cease intaking a large amount of sugar. Cease to intake a large amount of sugar. Cease intaking a large amount of sugar. The student continued to study until he was stopped. The student continued studying until he was stopped. The robot continues to produce until we stop it. The machine will continue producing the product until we turn it off. So please bear that in mind. Please keep that in mind. The machine will continue to produce unless you stop it. The machines will keep producing until you stop it. If you are really into that, you will continue to do that. There is no stop, no end. If you are really into that, you will continue doing that forever, eternally, forever, for good, perpetually. If you are really interested in the subject, you will keep doing that. You will keep to do that. You will continue to do that. You will continue doing that. You will continue doing that. You will continue doing that. You will continue to do that. If you are really interested in that, you will continue to do that forever. You will continue doing that forever. You will continue doing that forever. I really hate to wait for a long time in front of a shop, especially in the rush hour for lunch. I really hate to wait for a long time in front of shops or anywhere. I really hate to wait spending my time doing nothing, for example, in front of a restaurant, waiting room in the hospital, and so on. I really hate waiting for a long time. I really hate to wait for a long time. I really hate waiting for a long time. I hate to wait for a long time. I hate to wait. I hate waiting. I'm sure there are many people who hate waiting. I'm sure there are many people out there who hate waiting. I'm sure there are many people who hate waiting out there in the world. I hate to wait. I hate waiting. I hate to be treated unfairly. I hate being treated unfairly. I hate to be treated unfairly. I hate being treated unfairly. I hate being treated unfairly. I hate being treated unfairly. I hate to be treated unfairly. I hate to be treated unfairly. Unfairly. I hate to be treated unfairly. I hate being treated unfairly. I hate being treated unfairly. Some people hate to be treated as a child. Some adults hate being treated as a child. Some people hate to be in a group. Some people hate being in a group. Some people hate to participate in the party. Some people hate participating in the party. Some people hate to participate in the year-end party. Some people hate participating in the year-end party. I hate to work on what I'm not interested in. I hate working on what I'm not interested in. I hate to work on what I'm not interested in. I hate working on what I'm not interested in. I hate to talk about a particular subject, topic. I hate having a conversation about a particular topic. I hate to wait. I hate waiting. I hate to be treated unfairly. I hate being treated unfairly. I hate being treated unfairly. 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 I hate to be treated unfairly. I hate being treated unfairly. I hate to wait. I hate waiting. I hate waiting. I hate to wait. I hate waiting. I intended to go to the country in 2022, but I canceled it for the pandemic because of the pandemic, owing to pandemic, on account of pandemic, owing to pandemic, on account of pandemic. Under no circumstances should you say such a thing to me. Under no circumstances, under no circumstances should you say such a thing to me. Under no circumstances. Under no circumstances, never give up. Under no circumstances should you give up. Never give up. Don't give up. I intend to have a lunch newly opened restaurant around the corner from the office. I am intending to have lunch at the newly opened restaurant today. Why not go together, shall we? Let's go there, shall we? Shall we go there together? I am intending to have a lunch at the newly opened cafe, but I'm sure congestion is expected, so I will go there after the rush hour, like 2:30 p.m. If you intend achieving your goal, dedicate much of your time to that. If you are intending to achieve your goal, devote much of your time to that. I intended to pass the examination in the year, but I couldn't. I intended passing the examination in the year. I intended to become a physician. I intended becoming a physician, but as soon as I realized how low my examination scores were, I gave up. If you are intending to be a physician, you have to study a lot. If you are intending to achieve a breakthrough, devote much of your time to that. If you are to achieve your goal, dedicate much of your time to that. If you intend achieving your goal, if you intend achieving your goal, devote much of your time to that. Or else maybe you cannot. Otherwise maybe you cannot. Or else maybe you cannot. Else maybe you cannot. Probably. Perhaps. More or less. I am intending to sell my unwanted things. If you want some of them, maybe I can give them away to you. I intend selling my unwanted goods which I haven't used for a long time. If you want some of them, I can give them away to you. I am intending to sell my unwanted things which I haven't used for a long time. So if you are interested in or want them, I can give away them to you. I intend selling my unwanted things which I haven't used for a long time. If you want them, I can give them away to you. I intend selling my unwanted things. If you intend to achieve your goal, devote much of your time to that. If you intend achieving a goal, if you intend achieving your goal, devote much of your time to that. If you intend have lunch at the cafe, check the date opening time. If you intend having dinner at the restaurant, please check. You had better check the opening time because some restaurants close so fast, so early. If you intend having dinner at the restaurant, you are better off checking the closing time. And also check whether the restaurant is only for the guests with a reservation. What do you like to do in your spare time? What do you like doing in your spare time? What do you like to do in your spare time? What do you like to do in your spare time? What do you like to do in your spare time? What do you like doing in your spare time? What do you like to do in your spare time? What do you like doing in your spare time? What do you like doing in your spare time? I like to watch YouTube videos in my spare time. I like watching YouTube videos in my spare time. I like watching YouTube videos in my spare time. I like watching YouTube videos in my spare time. I like watching YouTube videos in my spare time. I like watching YouTube videos in my spare time. My preparation to a spare tire in my car was correct because one tire among the 4 tires got flat. But we should not be worried because we have one spare which can be replaced with the flat tire, and we can go home. Hopefully we can go home with no problem. I like to watch YouTube videos. I like watching YouTube videos. I love to watch YouTube videos. I love watching YouTube videos. I love to watch YouTube videos. I love to watch YouTube videos. I love watching YouTube videos. I love watching YouTube videos. Do you love traveling? Do you love to travel? Do you love to travel? Do you love to travel? Do you love traveling? Do you love traveling? Do you love singing? Do you love to sing? Do you love to sing? Do you love to dance? Do you love dancing? Do you love to read a book? Do you love reading books? Do you love to read 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 books? Do you love reading books? Soon after the class started, the students started to fall asleep. As soon as the class started, the students started sleeping. As soon as I got home, my pet dog started to run to me. As soon as I got home, my pet dog started running to me. Hardly stepped outside when it began to rain. Scarcely had I stepped outside, it began to rain. Before it began to rain. No sooner had I stepped outside than it began to rain. She had hardly got home when she ran to the refrigerator. She had scarcely got home before she ran to the refrigerator. She had no sooner arrived at home than she rushed to the refrigerator. As soon as the common teacher went out of the classroom, students started to have a conversation. Noisy. As soon as the common teacher went out of the classroom for a time being, the students started having a conversation. As soon as the examinee found his number on the bulletin, on the board in the premises of the university, he started to cry. He started crying. He started to cry. He started crying. He started to cry. He started to cry. He started to cry. He started crying. He started crying. He started crying. He started crying. He started to cry. He started to cry. He started to cry. He started crying. The moment the examiner found his number on the website of the university, he started to cry. He started crying. The instant the examiner found his number on the examination result, he started to scream. He started screaming. As soon as the employee got to the workplace, he started to work. He started working. As soon as the employee reached his office, as soon as the employee reached his office, as soon as the employee reached his office, he started to work on his duty. He started working on his duty. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you!